Get a quote on Yellow and save yourself the runaround with 1.57 million business listings online across Australia.
Yellow.
Our quote feature will help you find and choose the best business for your job.
Yellow.
Share details and photos via chat to help quote the job without the hassle.
Yellow.
Yellow.
Yellow. Yellow.
Need it? Yellow has it.
Yellow.
Find, choose, connect at yellowpages.com.au.
Yellow. Yellow.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Christian Lydiard, and welcome to this special Yellow Live webinar from our Yellow Pages head office in Melbourne. Joining me today for this special webinar, of course, is our Head of Marketing, Erin Williams. Welcome, Erin.
Thank you, and happy to be here, Christian. Happy Friday.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Erin. And Damien Salter, who's one of our capability managers. Welcome, Damien.
Hey Christian, hey Aaron, hey everybody.
Now, today you're joining us because we want to talk about social media. It's been a really exciting week here at Yellow. We've launched part 2 of the Yellow Social Media Report. Erin, this report's been running for 8 or 9 years now.
8 years, and just to celebrate its little 8th birthday, I dug up a fact for you guys. So back in 2011, a whopping 14% of businesses had taken the plunge into social media.
Wow. It's changed at such a rapid rate. I guess Australians have never been more social before, and that's what we want to uncover and explore today together. So we're going to jump into that. Now, if you think about being in business, it wasn't so long ago that business was quite simple. You could have an open sign, an ad in the Yellow Pages, and your phone would ring. But today, things have never been so complex, and it can be really tricky for a small business to navigate this space and identify the right opportunities for their business. And one of those, of course, today is social media. And we're going to uncover that in a few different ways. We're also going to talk about some consumer insights as we go through that. Now, one of the ways that we like to think about advertising at Yellow is around passive and active advertising. Now, Damien, passive advertising are all the things that people do to create awareness about their business, right?
Yeah, that's right. Traditionally, it probably would have been billboards or outdoor media and things like that, maybe even TV and radio.
Yeah.
But as we move into the digital world, that's now changed into things like display advertising. So if you're on news.com or AFL or whatever it might be, you see those banners on websites, and that's the type of passive advertising that we're now moving towards in the digital age.
And of course, social plays a big part of that. Now, active advertising are the things that refer to the products and services that people use when they're ready to connect. So if you think about it, once you've learnt about a product or a service, you might use a product like Google or yellowpages.com.au to actually connect with a business. And we call those forms of advertising active. Now, Erin, let's jump into some of the insights from this report. So this week you've been flat chat, right?
Yeah, a little bit flat chat. So interestingly, I've just come from the studio at Sky. So I'll be featured on the 7:30 show called The Enterprise, talking about the social media report, but you guys get a special sneak peek. So great, and thank you for watching. But yeah, the report is, as we sort of mentioned before, it's 8 years old, and it really is the most comprehensive Australian report into social media habits. And we've split the report into 2 parts. So there's the consumer side, which shows us what everyone at home is doing with their social media and their habits around that. But we also survey over 1,100 businesses to find out their habits. And for you guys at home as business owners, this presents a bit of an opportunity for us to delve into some of those facts, which is what we want to do today.
And at the end, we're going to give people some links and tips on where they can get more of that information, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Anyone watching can download that?
Yes, it's a pretty good read. And we've also developed a new ebook, which I'll share a little bit with you later. But let's get into some of the detail around it. So I suppose the first thing that we see is that there is a bit of a gap between the amount of consumers on social media and the proportion of small businesses. So 88% of consumers are on social in Australia, yet for small and medium businesses, that's an average of 54%. So small businesses are up from that 14% 8 years ago, and they've just tipped over the 51% mark. So you can see the gap there is that, there is an opportunity for more businesses to embrace social. But, it doesn't come without its challenges, and we've got some really interesting stats on the challenges that businesses face. So the first thing that I want to talk about is that it's a real struggle for businesses to understand their ROI in this space. And I'm looking down at your notes, Christian, but you've written them very small. I want to get this stat right. Yeah, so 53% of businesses still measure their success through engagement metrics. And what engagement metrics are things like your likes and your comments. And look, while that is certainly important to gauge how relevant your content is, what we would suggest is that companies have a little bit more of a commercial angle on their social media. And by that I mean, what is your ultimate outcome? Do you want more clicks through to your website? Do you want to generate more leads? Because it's not just that on-page engagement, we really want to be driving an action that is going to return ROI for the business. So that whole piece is probably something that I would recommend businesses sit and have a think about.
An interesting finding for me, Erin, was the number of business owners that are actually managing this themselves, right? So that was another challenge that was uncovered.
Yeah,
72%?
absolutely. Yeah, so my heart goes out to you guys out there. So hand in hand, there are two stats. Firstly, the most frustrating thing being about the reason why you wouldn't have a social presence is because doing all the content and updating it all the time is one of the biggest pains in the backside when it comes to social media. And that stat goes hand in hand with what we know about small business. So for those on social media, in 72% of cases, as you say, it is the owner that is purely responsible for all the content generation, for getting on Facebook, for making those updates, and for responding to inquiries. And I think, you know, as a small business owner, you're the accountant, you have to be the marketing person, you know, and now you have to be the social media guru as well. So it's not surprising that businesses feel really overwhelmed in this space. My advice to you would be to, there's probably a couple of ways that you can get a little bit of help. Number one, your kids are actually, if you've got children, particularly teenagers, they are so intuitively across social media that they can be a fabulous source of creativity. So why not have a bit of a content brainstorm around the dinner table? The second thing is, we see that small businesses are spending about $5,000 on their social media at the moment. Why not take 20% of that budget and put that aside into getting some strategic help? And it's not about outsourcing the whole thing. It might be about getting someone in just for, you know, a day for 10 hours to help you set up the strategy and to give you more, I suppose, to help you brainstorm about what sort of content that you can do. So a little bit more strategic and less executional would be my second sort of advice there.
Okay. Erin, we know that there's a very large payoff as well, right? So that small business owners that are involved with social are building trust with their audience.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was really great to see that the majority of businesses we spoke to absolutely support that social is affecting their bottom line in a positive way. So a few tips, I suppose, around that. We saw that I think it was over 50% of consumers say that you know, they want to engage with brands that they trust on social, and we've got 3 sort of tips in how to do that. The first tip, and again I'm looking at Christian's tiny notes here. Thanks, Christian. My eyesight's just working fabulously today. So the first tip would be to interact positively with your customers. And what that means is don't just put a post out and then sit back and think that your job is done. If you've got engaged customers that are commenting, then have a conversation with them. It's meant to be fun and it's meant to be a two-way chat. The second thing is to make your content engaging and relevant. And look, we get that that is a challenge. Big businesses like us have entire media departments to help and agency support. So we really do get that this is a tricky thing. But if you're a gardener, then people are following you because they want to hear about your expertise as a gardener. So while, you know, you might have a really funny comedian joke about, you know, football or something, is that really relevant to your audience? And I'd say just have fun with it as well. So the more fun that you're having, the more that will come across in your posts. And the third thing is to keep it regularly updated. Now we have seen a drop in businesses that are going towards that daily posting. And, you know, I'm not surprised at all. However, if you're a consumer and you pop on to see that a business hasn't updated their social in 6 months, what does that tell you about the commitment and the, you know, the engagement of that business owner in connecting with their customers? So I suppose just sit back and think about what you'd like to see as a consumer, and, you know, that would be a really good guide.
Yeah, definitely. And that authenticity, right, is really important, keeping it real. We've just got hot off the press, so the marketing team, Erin, that you lead, has just produced
This morning,
a social media ebook. So you can go to yellow.com.au/ebook and grab that resource. So tons of tips and insights, practical ideas on how you can apply some of those strategies that Erin has just spoken about to your business.
Yeah, that's right. And so I suppose I want to say, as well as the report, this ebook is designed to unpack paid advertising for you. But I suppose the themes that we've discussed today is essentially that's where your customers are. So please keep trying to build your social media presence, but don't feel that you have to go it alone or that there isn't a lot of help and resources out there for you. And so, please read the ebook. It is fabulous. My team have done a great job.
In a few moments, we're going to take a look at a video with a few more insights. But of course, today we are streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. And that Facebook posting live for us is actually the first time that we're doing a webinar via Facebook as well. So there's an opportunity for anybody watching, of course, to join in the conversation. So if you're on YouTube or Facebook, feel free to write some comments there, and our capability team is standing by to answer some of those questions. So feel free to get on board. But let's take a look now at some of more of the insights that were uncovered this week in our second part of the Yellow Social Media Report.
If your business is actively using social media, then you're in good company. More Aussie businesses than ever before have a social media presence. Welcome to the 2018 Yellow Social Media Report. Since 2011, we've been surveying consumers and businesses on how they use social media channels. We use these insights to help businesses, large, medium and small, stay in tune with social media trends and also help them use that knowledge to build connections with their customers. This year, we've split the report into two parts. You can find a snapshot of consumer social media behaviour at yellow.com.au, but I want to take you through some of the key findings of this year's business survey. More than half the small and medium businesses surveyed have a social media presence, but big business has jumped from 60% in 2017 to 85% this year. Facebook, no surprises, is the most popular platform for having a presence. It's used by around 9 in 10 businesses, which is consistent with the 2017 result. Instagram has become the second most popular platform for small business, but we're seeing that LinkedIn is the number 2 choice for medium and large businesses. And big business loves Twitter, as do medium-sized companies. Just over 6 in 10 businesses believe that social media will contribute to increased sales in the next 12 months. The average expected sales increase for small businesses is around 11%, while it's 15% for medium and 16% for the top end of town. Paying for advertising on social media has actually become more popular this year, and Facebook is also by far the most common social media advertising channel for all businesses, as it was the year before. But the frequency of content updates has changed, and small and large businesses are less keen on making daily updates. All businesses agree that the most frustrating aspect of social media is constantly thinking of new content and making those constant changes. But there's a reason that keeping content fresh and engaging can really help your business. As we uncovered in the consumer report, 68% of people read online reviews before they commit to buying something. They average about 8 reviews each time. This highlights just how important it is to make sure that your products and services are being talked about, not just by you, but by satisfied clients and customers too. We've got more insights into how businesses around the country are using social media, where they're advertising, how they're measuring their return on investment, and how they're driving traffic and planning social media engagement. To find out how your business social media use stacks up with the rest of Australia, you can download a copy of the full report at yellow.com.au.
Well done there, Erin. Some fantastic insights.
Oh, look, it's been hard work this week, but nobody cares more about the social media report than me.
Oh, that's great. Now, Damien, I want to talk a little bit about the consumer path to purchase. Some people call it the buying funnel. Mm-hmm. It's a concept that's been around for 120 years. It was 1898 when this concept was first put down in ink.
It's almost
And-
as old as you, Christian.
Well,
Or the phone book.
well, that's exactly right.
yeah.
But this is really important for business owners to understand, right?
Yeah.
So talk us through the funnel, because we're then going to talk about the types of advertising that you can do on Facebook. And I think a lot of the different options today, sort of fit back into the funnel at certain stages.
Certainly, the marketing funnel, or the path to purchase, as you say, is something which is you see lots of different versions of in different places. But from a really simplified viewpoint, it's tracking what your consumers are doing when they're making a purchase, and allowing you to place different messages in front of them at different times. So if you look at the top in the awareness stage, these are the marketing messages that you're putting out to consumers who aren't necessarily aware of your business, and trying to get that "what do I do?" and "what's my name?" message out there. As a consumer becomes more aware of who you are, they start to consider your product or service to purchase. And that's the consideration stage, where you really want to focus on content to convince them that you're the best person for the job or the best answer for the question, you're in their local area, you're available now, etc., etc., etc. And then as we get right down to the bottom, we start to consider consumers who are ready to make a purchase. And what are their needs in that moment? So that may well be the immediacy of the service you offer, how close you are to them, that you're open now, etc. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where the funnel is so important when it comes to different types of media and reaching your consumers at different times.
Yes.
This is such a good point, Damien. And I suppose another, a little way to look at that is, say, search engine marketing is a really sort of active sort of thing that you would use right at the end of that funnel. So that's probably not the first place that you'd look to for awareness. And at Yellow, we use, a lot more ambient advertising there. So I suppose it's, again, just think of yourself as a consumer and the parts, the sort of channels that you would use when you are buying something, and then just translate that back to the sort of advertising that you would use at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, one of the great things about social media is it can extend all across that funnel and across both of those active and passive sides that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, for sure. Let's dig into that now. So one of the things that we know is that less than 2% of posts will actually reach the audience.
Yep. This is a big one for me. So at Yellow, we make sure that every single post that we put on Facebook has a spend behind it. So organic posting used to be quite an efficient way to reach people that followed you, but now it's really not worth doing. So I make sure every spend has to be boosted.
And of course, there is such a huge audience, and we're going to dig into the advertising types, particularly with Facebook, because we know that that's where the lion's share of the audience is. There are definitely growing platforms. Instagram is exploding, Erin. We're seeing higher usage of platforms like Snapchat as well.
It's still a long way off though.
But it is a long way off, right? Facebook
Yeah.
is definitely dominant when it comes to social.
90% of businesses on social are on Facebook, and I think we can also sort of look at the back end of Facebook and say that the amount of tools and reporting mechanisms that they have make it a really solid choice for small business. Interestingly, Instagram actually popped into the number 2 spot this year, whereas last year it was LinkedIn. So we are seeing, particularly in fashion and entertainment,
Yes.
that Instagram's more popular.
And of course, Instagram being owned by Facebook, they're a match made in heaven,
No
right?
surprise.
It makes it great for small businesses, and they can do both of these, use both of these platforms very quickly and easily because they're owned by the same people.
Yeah.
Both
All right,
businesses.
let's dig into some of the advertising types now, Damien, and I'll get you to talk through what they mean, what the purpose is. So these are some of the key ways you can reach your audience as a small business. So the first one is the local awareness ads.
Definitely. So we start to consider these in that top of the funnel customer bracket, if you will. So they're ads that are focused around your local market area, trying to generate clicks through to your website, directions through to your store, or phone calls through to your business.
And a good way for people watching to think about this is if you've ever travelled or been somewhere different, and all of a sudden within your Facebook feed, you'll have advertising for businesses that are in that unique area, right?
That's right. So Facebook can use the technology within our phones to pinpoint pretty much exactly where we are, so that you can market to a hyper-local group of customers, if you wish.
Excellent. Now the next one is the click to website ads.
Click-to-website ads are great for those types of businesses that have a bit more of an involved sales process or a more detailed value proposition, where your potential consumer probably wants to learn a bit more about the product or service that you offer before contacting you. They're also great for anybody who has an online store. If you want to direct traffic through to that store for people to make a purchase, or anybody else that really wants to try and capture traffic through to their website.
And these can be customised, right? So when you mentioned people wanting to find out more or buy or explore, or it could be a download, this is where we can customise the actions today to suit the objectives of a business.
Yeah, exactly. We'll look at a little bit later about how the types of audiences that we can reach. But I guess to that end, we can match the audience that we're targeting with the destination that they go to make sure that the advertising is as effective as possible and is converting into leads into paying customers at the highest rate possible as well.
All right, let's explore one of the ad types now, which is changing, I guess, the way Facebook is being thought about. So it used to be very much about awareness and clicks to websites and boosting a post, but lead generation ads is some pretty sophisticated technology. It's shortening the path to purchase, Damien. So tell us about those.
So lead generation ads are wonderful for those businesses who are looking to capture customer details. It allows your potential consumer to submit through their name, address, phone number, email address, whatever else it might be, without actually leaving the Facebook ecosystem.
Yes.
So if you're looking for the ability to remarket back to your potential customers, if you're looking to capture lists to generate newsletters or a marketing list, they're wonderful. And they're great if, again, if you've got that more detailed and involved sales process where a salesperson might be able to then call a consumer back when it was at the right time for them.
And this is a really good point that you make. So just to hark back about that conversation around ROI and maybe not focusing so much on engagement as the be-all and end-all of success. If you want to use Facebook for those, for those actions further down the funnel, then they have ad types to support that, which is fantastic.
It makes it so flexible.
And the final one we'll look at now is page-like ads. So this, I guess, is where Facebook started.
Yeah, so originally that was what the vast majority of the sponsored or the boosted posts were all about, like my page. But as you talked about before, organic reach now sits at around the 2% mark. So page likes, while valuable, don't have the same value that they used to.
Yes.
We'd recommend page likes to an advertiser who had a specific and targeted business goal to increase their online following. But as Aaron sort of has mentioned, the lead ads or the website ads or the local awareness ads are really more about driving a direct return on investment.
Taking that action.
From your local marketing area.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say, there's still some great value in looking at your followers. And I mean, none of that crazy data stuff that Facebook has been involved in recently, but more sort of, you can just get a very instant snapshot of the gender and the age of people that are following you. And while that can differ a little bit to your true customer base, it's a nice indication as to who you're appealing to and what sort of content that you're putting out there, who it's attracting.
Yeah. Now, Erin, there's a saying in marketing, if something's free, you're the product being sold.
Say it again, Christian. If something is free,
you're the product being sold. So I want you to just think for a moment. Most Australians have a Facebook page, and when you set that up, of course, you didn't pay for that. But this is one of the things that really sets social apart, because they know us very intimately, because we're feeding it with a whole range of information about ourselves. So they know our age, our gender, our relationship statuses, what we've liked perhaps, and the brands and things that we've followed before. So they can curate all of this information to really target the ideal customer based on who we are.
So right, it's a great opportunity. And just to use a really small part of that, relationship status. So as soon as a person becomes engaged, then obviously they're in the market for wedding type services. And for photo booth operators, for cake decorators, for dress designers, that presents a really topical time to get in front of that customer, particularly if they're in a location that suits you. So it doesn't need to be too crazy. But don't forget, consumers really do want to see relevant stuff that's relevant to them in their stage of life. So don't be shy about using this technology.
And unlike search, the consumer doesn't need to be aware of your business for you to put that marketing message in front of them.
That's right.
So where the consumer may have had to go search for photo booth, on a search engine previously, they now might have seen your ad once, twice, 10 times.
And gone, what a great idea, why
Exactly.
don't I try a photo booth? And what I love most about Facebook and Insta is that it's a visual medium. So you can show, think about your type of business. Now for you plumbers out there, maybe this is not 100% fantastic if you're going to show the latest toilet that you've just unblocked. But for anyone that has a visual aspect to their businesses, it just adds that extra element of being able to showcase the things that you do really cost effectively.
Yeah. We're going to take a look at a short video now at some of the other fun insights that we've uncovered in the last couple of weeks through the Social Media Report. There's definitely some funny little insights there, Erin. There's certainly more to come, right?
Yeah, and you know, it's always the toilet one that gets people, and I choose not to explore that very much because I don't want any mental images of me using social media on the toilet. I would never do that. I'm one of the 77% of people who would never do that.
Okay. Damien, let's talk a little bit now about why Yellow. So Yellow is a business that's been around for 138 years. And we are extremely passionate about helping small businesses in particular grow and connect with the right audience. And we believe that social is a part of that mix for many, many businesses today. So why would somebody choose to partner with Yellow to manage their Yellow social ads?
It's a great question. So the Yellow Social Ads program is one of the leaders in market in Australia right now, and that's primarily because of two main reasons. Number one, our people. So we have a group of expert campaign managers who build social media advertising campaigns for small and medium businesses throughout Australia all day, every day.
Yes.
That is what they are experts at.
I call them the propeller heads, right? Because to be a true expert at these different disciplines of digital marketing today, you really have to invest all your time into it, right? You can't be an expert at everything.
That's right. So if you're a florist, you're great at flower arranging. If you're a plumber, then you're excellent at changing taps.
Yep.
Our social media specialists are great at building advertising campaigns that deliver return on investment for all those business owners out there.
All right, let's talk about the technology then. So we've got people that are very focused on it, they understand what works, but what technology do they have that might set us apart from other providers out there, or even from people doing it themselves?
Yeah, so that's the second piece of what makes the Yellow social advertising program so effective and efficient. The technology we use uses artificial intelligence and machine learning to make data-driven decisions over time to continually improve the social media advertising.
So what does that
programs.
mean?
Yeah.
We hear
A lot
so
of
much
big words.
about machine-based learning and AI at the moment. What does that mean?
So the best way to describe it is to actually look at a couple of examples. Primarily, the most common way we use artificial intelligence within the social ads technology is through picking the best assets. So different photos, different image, different types of headline, different calls to action
Yep.
that have proved to be effective over time.
Let's bring up an example on the screen, Damien, so that we can see what you're talking about. So we have an example here of Royal Plumbing and Gas, which we'll bring up on the screen.
And this
And
example, I think
they've got some
uses
different images here and different things happening.
Yeah, so this one uses some different text copy, which we'll show you in a moment, which essentially is giving a different call to action and a different marketing message in front of the consumer. The technology will then analyse the performance of each one of the different variations and say which one of them engaged the most with the audience.
Yes.
And you know, we call this A/B testing, but at a really sophisticated level, I think this is what sets apart you doing it at home yourself. It's kind of enterprise level technology. So it's certainly we as a business, Yellow, would be using these for our own social media.
Let's take a look at the next one. So the next one is an example of the click to website ads with Dial a Plumber, Damien. So we're seeing a few different variations here of the descriptions, I guess.
Yeah, and it's very similar to the previous example where we're leveraging the technology to always be improving. So as any good marketer knows, you want to test, measure, improve,
And test
repeat.
again.
Yeah.
Yep, and repeat.
And this allows those small business owners to do that in an automated way. So instead of having to manually, reconcile spreadsheets and data and X and Y and everything else like that, we'll take care of all that for you and give you the expertise sitting behind it to make the appropriate decisions to always be improving.
So we'll give one more example on the screen now. This one's quite interesting. So this was using the variations of images. So you can see the different images perform, and we'll show that in another slide in a moment. But this was another click to website ad. And this particular image on the screen, for some reason it resonated, right? I guess that's the thing with ABC testing, Erin. You don't really know what's going to work sometimes.
And it's not necessarily what you'd expect. So, I mean, one thing is that, faces are things that really resonate with people. But as everyone jumped on board and started using faces, now we're finding that, sometimes more graphical things cut through. And this is a very intriguing image. It makes you want to look more. It's like, what's actually happening there?
Yeah. Let's go to the next screen. Damien, this is an example of the live dashboard reporting.
Yeah.
So with Yellow social ads, you get a live dashboard which you can access 24/7 that shows what's going on. And this really helps to bring that ABC testing to life, because all of a sudden, you can optimize for different things. So it could be that we're optimizing for certain times of the day. It could be that we're optimizing for demographics or even for age groups. And you can see, and it's very hard to see on this here, but that image that we saw previously with the heat detection was by far performing better than the others.
Yeah, so the image with the heat detection photo, I think exceeded 80% of the total engagement from consumers on Facebook, and it's something which I think shows the power of compelling images. I think Erin touched on it before. It's such a visual platform. I probably wouldn't have guessed that a heat image would have been that engaging, but the technology allows us to be continually measuring that over time and finding things that we may not have thought were possible, plausible, that really drive a result.
Yeah, and it removes that sort of subjectivity to it, right? So you're looking at the data.
Exactly, and what I really love about this dashboard is the transparency. So you can see where your money is going, and you can see, the absolute result that is having. And we looked at the small businesses are spending around $4,800 now annually, and it's kind of like, okay, cool, you can do it yourself, or you could put that $4,800 into a provider like Yellow and make a very clear judgment as to the improvement that you're getting.
Yeah, so it's very transparent around the performance, and the goal setting is really important.
And the audiences. So again, you may not have been able to see it on a small computer screen, or if you've got a big one where you're watching, that's even better. But you're able to see the demographic of the audience that you're targeting, their age, location, et cetera, because Facebook is so data rich and able to give us those valuable insights to make sure that you understand that your advertising is getting in front of the right people.
Yeah.
No wastage.
I guess one more question for you, Damien, before we need to wrap up is around how social compares to some of the other digital services out there. So, we at Yellow are a partner with Google and Bing, which are very large players, of course, in the search space.
Yep.
And we manage tens of thousands of customers in that space. However, social is one of those things that presents a really good opportunity.
Yeah.
So how do the return on investments compare?
So first and foremost, we need to understand that it's a different platform, a different channel, but there's one primary thing in common. We can generate traffic and clicks.
Yes.
Across the board, broadly speaking, clicks from social media are substantially cheaper than what you might find on Google and other search engines. There's no way to make that any clearer. It's a great way to be able to engage with your audience at a price which might not be achievable in other places.
So it's got to be a consideration, right? There is a suggestion that you should be checking it out and exploring what it might mean for your business.
Yeah, and I think it's very much horses for courses, and certain businesses and industries will do better on social. But I think also at Yellow, given the number of businesses that we've helped in all these different channels, we are able to guide you a little bit and say, look, this is going to work really well for you, or perhaps, search is definitely a place where you should be playing. So.
Yeah, thank you. Now, it's been a really busy week, and a lot of people are probably asking, how do I get more information? Erin, we've got the social media reports available online now.
We do, and if you want to watch the video of me again, that's on there too, because I'm pretty sure that was a highlight of everyone's Friday.
I'm sure it was. So that's yellow.com.au/social media report, but I'm sure if you just go to yellow.com, you can
It'll be
follow
really,
the links.
really clear to find. And please don't forget to download our social ebook as well. A little bit more of in detail supplementary information from what we've shared here today.
Thanks, Erin. And Damien, any final comments from yourself?
No, we've got our experts in the chat, so if you do have any questions about social media advertising, or the report, feel free to sing out. Or feel free to give us a ring. So our operators are standing by here in Melbourne and around the country if you've got a local representative. And if you want to have a bit more of a chat about social and how it can present value to your business and some of the strategies that you can implement to make the most of it, we'd be more than happy to help.
I love that, Damien. Operators are standing by.
They are standing by.
1-800, no, just joking.
No, 132489.
132489.
The number's there.
Does the marketing budget include a set of steak knives?
Oh, who knows? Who
Look,
knows?
I'm feeling generous. It's Friday, so steak knives for all.
Well, you know what? Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, it's always a lot for you to step away from your small business to get insights. We value your time, and if you're sitting by with one of our media sales representatives, they're certainly ready to pick up the conversation with you now and talk about how this could apply to your business. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Erin. Thank you, Damien. And again, my name's Christian Lydiard. We'll see you again next time.
Yellow will help your business grow, from building customer-friendly websites to helping people find you online and connect on social media. Reach more people more often. Do more business with Yellow at yellow.com.au.
Yellow.